Morning guys, Chanel here. This morning I'm interviewing Marcelo Booshehri.
Hey guys.
He's an incredible surf photographer. I'm super excited to learn what inspires him to wake up early in the morning and take incredible pictures. Marcelo, tell everybody where you're from.
So I was born and raised here in San Diego for the most part, but then when I was 10 I moved to the UK and enjoyed living in Swansea in Wales. Yeah.
Awesome. How long were you living in the UK?
So I was there for about 6 years total.
A lot of great surf out there?
Oh yeah, the surf, Clangland and Llangennith, these spots on the Gower, it's beautiful, yeah.
So what's the difference in temperature of the water out there versus out here?
Oh man, it is cold out there.
Really?
It's pretty frosty. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably about 40 degrees over there, 40, 50 degrees. Yeah.
I thought it was cold here. Like to me, I couldn't imagine swimming in anything colder than the Pacific.
Oh man, the Pacific's awesome.
I grew up in the East Coast and I feel like the water there is bath water. So being out here, I don't know, it's pretty cold.
You still definitely need a wetsuit.
So how long have you been surfing?
So I think I started surfing when I was around 12 years old, say about 10 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you take surfing classes? How did you get into it?
It was more so like my friends and I decided we wanted to get into it. I mostly trial and error, you know, seeing each other, kind of helping each other get better.
Was there YouTube back then? Were you like able to watch any videos?
You know, YouTube was a thing. I was hyped on the YouTube videos.
Cool. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Pretty early. I'd say if I'm coming out here to the beach to get some shots around 5:30, try and leave the house by 6 just to make sure I'm out in the water by the time the sun gets up.
That's such an early morning. Are you a coffee drinker?
More tea than
yes,
coffee.
Me too.
Yeah.
Whenever you wake up in the morning, do you have to get your mind right to get out here? I know it gets really cold. Is it ever too cold to go surfing?
Oh yeah, there definitely be times where, you know, I'm sitting in my covers contemplating, looking at Surfline, like, is it even worth it today? Kind of play some like Jedi mind tricks on myself. You know, like, no, it's not that cold, it's fine.
Do you ever surf by yourself or are you usually out here with a group of people?
It just kind of depends, yeah, on the day, but I definitely do like going out by myself, especially if it's been, you know, a gnarly week at school or work or whatever. It's nice to go out there and sit,
It's
reflect.
like an escape for you.
Exactly, yeah.
So what got you into surf photography?
One day, actually, I was describing to my friend Lyle about like a green room. He's like, what's that? So it's basically when a wave barrels, you know, you kind of get caught inside. That kind of creates like this green hue all around you, and they call it the green room.
Amazing.
And, yeah. So he was like, yeah, I'd like to check that out. I'm like, dude, I wish I could show it to you. He's like, yeah, take some pictures of it. Like, what? How? Dude, you can't put a camera in water. He's like, oh, dude, it's like GoPro. You know, you should go check it out. So then, you know, the next day I did some research. Then it was either between fixing my exhaust or getting a GoPro. And like, I haven't looked back since. So.
Did your car survive?
It did survive. It's still kicking.
Awesome. You got this equipment. How did you learn how to use it?
Again, just trial and error for the most part too. Early on, I would come home pretty empty-handed. Once I'd look at my footage, you know, I'd be like, oh man, thumbs in this one, or like water spots, you know, light, whatever it might be. But then, you know, I just kind of kept trying to remember that, keep that in mind every time I went out there. And another big thing too was just following other surf photographers around here. I'm really inspired by Derek Dunphy. He's a local from San Diego too, and he has great work. So.
Did you meet him? Like by follow, did you actually interact with them or did you just follow their work online?
So yeah, I followed his work online at first, and then he had a gallery showing in Lucadia.
Oh,
and I was
cool.
able to go. It was a really small place and go talk with them, you know, ask him for advice and all that stuff. It was
Amazing.
great. Yeah.
And he's really social, like he gave you great
he's
advice.
super chill guy, yeah.
Awesome.
Super nice.
Amazing. So what kind of camera do you have on your neck right now?
So this is a Canon AE1 SLR.
Looks like a vintage camera.
Yeah, it's older. It's a 35 millimeter film. So yeah, it's not digital. Instead, it uses film.
So do you have a dark room that you use to develop?
No, I don't. That'd be awesome.
That'd be
Eventually,
super
one
cool.
day I'd like to, but I take him down to Nelson's. Shout out right there.
Oh, I love Nelson's.
Yeah, they do great work developing it down there.
Amazing. So this is the camera that you'd use if you were doing like shots from the shore? Or?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So what are your advantages usually? Like where are you shooting from?
If I'm shooting with this camera, I like to be higher up, sort of catching the surfers from a distance. So
Okay.
I have different interchangeable lenses that I throw on, you know, for like, zooming in and out.
Yeah.
And things. So yeah, it's more for like landscapes.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. Let's look at some of the other equipment that you're using.
For sure. Older vintage type of stuff.
How cool is this? Everybody
Yeah,
look
check
at
it
this
out.
thing.
So that's Bell and
You look
Howell
through here?
Zoom-matic. Yeah, it's a tiny little viewfinder.
It's really heavy.
I know. And it's actually, what's cool about this is there's no batteries in it. Take this little
How does this work?
Jackson right here and you just spin it to wind it like that.
Stop.
Yeah.
I feel like this is super old timey and like I would break it.
It's I think the model came out around the 60s.
Where did you get this?
Thrift shop, actually.
So cool. I can't believe it still works.
I know, right?
It's completely intact. You don't ever have days where it's like wonky on you?
Not really. Like, that's the thing if you go thrifting, you know, you might get a bad camera every now and again, but for like $2, pretty cool.
That is really cool. So how does the film come out of this?
So there's no film in it right now, so you can open it up.
Oh, it looks like a cassette tape.
So it uses Super 8 film.
Oh, so cool.
So I like to splice that into my videos of like surfing edits and stuff.
Does it look different? Like the footage looks kind of like...
Yeah, definitely with the kind of lens. It's just one on here, so it's very like focused, you know? And film definitely captures light in a different sense as well, and just kind of gets put out differently.
That's incredible. Yeah. I'm super impressed with that.
Oh,
what else do you got for me?
I have a GoPro in here and a Telesin dome port. So pretty much this kind of creates another sort of surface area for the water to contact before hitting the lens of the camera itself. So it lets you get really clear over-under shots.
It like spreads that water out of the way from the lens?
Yeah, the best way to describe it's kind of like when you open your eyes underwater without goggles, then with goggles.
Oh,
you know,
that makes sense.
Clarity. Yeah.
Super cool. So this is a water-specific tool.
Yeah, it's water casing, even though the GoPro is waterproof itself. Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know they made these things.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. So.
Oh, and it's not that heavy?
No, not at all. So
cool.
Just, swimming out there, have that with me.
What are these little...
the white things?
Yeah.
So because a lot of the time the temperature on the outside in the water is a lot colder than what's going on in here.
Okay.
It creates condensation and fog.
Oh.
And then these water spots kind of come up here and super frustrating if you get pictures of them on there. So that sort of absorbs the moisture and prevents it from happening.
Pro tip, if you ever use one.
But I mean, GoPro sell them pretty expensive, but what you can do, these are just paper towels.
Yeah, it looks like
here.
it. It looks like he just has absorbent paper towels.
Put it in there. Yeah.
Amazing, genius. I love it.
Oh,
so how much of your footage are you shooting using your GoPro? Is it most of it in the water?
I'd say most of it, yeah. Like 80% of it.
And so you're holding it while you're surfing?
So I actually swim out there. These guys are crucial. You're gonna get into it, get yourself some fins. Yeah.
What's the difference in fins? Like what? Like these are short little fins.
Right. Yeah. So those are swim fins. So those help you maneuver around a lot faster. You're obviously a lot quicker.
Very cool.
Get into position. So I'll be out there with these and that in my hand, sort of trying to position myself. Swimming with one arm, shooting with the others.
Are you able, do you get exhausted just kind of waiting?
Waiting?
You're waiting out there while you're doing it? You don't have a floaty or something to, not like water wings.
I do get some. That'd be pretty stylish, honestly, pretty rad.
I would want someone to be recording you in water wings, filming other people.
All right, we make that happen.
That's our next project. We're going to film Marcelo in water wings filming surfers.
Stay tuned to that, for sure.
I mean, just a board or something to balance on so that you get shots, or is that in the way? I'm trying to visualize how you're doing this and I just don't get it.
Honestly, I try to create as little sort of disturbance in that there when I'm out there. So when I'm out there, the neoprene in my wetsuit usually helps me stay pretty buoyant, and then the fins as well keep me up.
Amazing.
So, also, just been swimming for a while now, too.
Let me take a look at your pictures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think the reason that I was so excited to meet with you is this is one of the shots that I was talking about. He got this picture of the guy with the broken surfboard and the dog. His dog is following behind him. So cool. I just think that your shots have so much emotion in them. They're incredible. I love this one. How did you get this shot? I don't even understand how that's possible.
So I'd say definitely something that's helped me out in my photography is since I did surf beforehand, I kind of have an understanding of the way the wave is going to work. Or if I look at a wave, I can kind of tell, okay, it's breaking here. I need to be in this position to get this sort of shot with that surfer, in that line. So it's a lot of just timing and.
Were you following behind them, in the wave?
So that one actually, he caught left from the pier, and I saw him down the line. So I was like, okay, he's about to come straight towards me. So what I can do is I let myself sort of get picked up by the wave.
Cool.
So then I'm on the face of the wave right there while he's actually riding it, and that way, I don't get run over.
You were body surfing the waves?
It's kind of like duck diving underneath,
Sure.
So I would be there in position, holding my camera out, and the next thing I know, wave comes over, and I'm out the back.
So cool. And so this one, is it similar? Is that kind of the same thing? It looks like you're on a surfboard behind him, following him.
I actually get that a lot from people saying that too. But what I try and do though is just sort of make it, my point of view as possible.
Sure.
So I kind of hold it up closer or higher. Thank you.
Okay, now this one. This one's really scary because it looks like he's going to attack you. Like it looks like he's going to surf over top of you and you're going to get cut in half.
Mikey has a pretty fierce face, so give him that for sure. Yeah, honestly, one thing that I love about photography is being able to capture these moments and just, it might be a split second.
Yeah.
But, I get to go back and share it with people who, in other words, might not have been able to see that.
Well, it's incredible. Does it get dangerous? Are you in the way of these people doing these miraculous surfing tricks?
I try and not be in the way as much as possible. I haven't had any serious accidents. We also shoot some sharks that way too, bring them out.
Have you ever seen a shark?
Actually, right here, there's a bunch of leopard sharks that come out. They have their babies, I think, in June each time.
Is it dangerous to be in the water with leopard sharks?
Oh, no, they're pretty docile, yeah. I mean, just don't bother them. They won't bother you.
So we're not in great white territory.
I mean, there have been reports up in, Huntington and a little further north of sharks being seen. So it is definitely possible for them to be down here. I just try to push that to the back of my mind.
So you're not thinking about that?
No. I definitely do, especially when I'm just about to get in the water, but I'm like, nah.
When you're in the water, it doesn't really come to mind.
Yeah, not really. Luckily, the adrenaline from, the enjoyment I'm getting out there, and I'm focusing more on either getting a shot or not getting hit,
Yeah,
so
of course.
I'm not really thinking about it.
You've got to be really focused to have success with these pictures. What do you do with your pictures once you've taken them? Like your collection of photos that you've done, do you do them for the people you're shooting? Are they for yourself? Do you have a website? Do you make prints? Tell me a little bit about what you do with your work.
Yeah, so for the most part, my prints that I do, I have them just kind of around just memories and stuff. But for the most part, I try and get them out there on Ocean Beach on Wednesdays at the farmers market. So
you sell them at Ocean Beach Farmers Market. Yeah. Super cool place. If you're in San Diego, you've never been there, it's Wednesday evenings. One of the coolest things I've ever done was go to the Ocean Beach Farmers Market. There's tons of vendors like Marcelo selling their art. I would definitely check it out if you can. Do people ever commission you?
Yeah, so definitely that's happened before, and I do enjoy those sessions too, because that way I can really focus on one surfer and be able to get different angles of the same guy, instead of just whoever's coming down the line.
So I was curious, do you ever just take pictures of people that don't know who you are, know that you're photographing them? Can you just roll up on somebody and just take pictures of them without their consent or them realizing what you're doing?
So yeah, that's one thing that I thought about too when I first started getting into it. I was like, are these people gonna care? Is me just having a camera in their face? But for the most part, people see me, they'll give me one of those, or a pose face, or they just have so much stoke on their face that afterwards, oh dude, you think you can give me that? Here's my contact information.
Cool.
It's more so oh, what is that, a camera?
Right. Have you ever used a drone to shoot? Are you ever on the beach controlling remotely aerial shots?
So not me personally, but I started a small media production team, and one of my friends actually, he flies the drones, sort of our aerial operator.
So cool.
Yeah, we'll come out here on a day and be all right, so we'll be working in sort of this break right here. If you could get sort of a panning shot here and there, we'll kind of coincide, and then in editing we'll bring those two together.
So are you doing video and still shots?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever done a compilation of videos and made a really cool montage, or a commercial for your work?
I have been commissioned a couple times actually to make different videos for different events, things like that.
So cool.
So that's definitely a lot of fun. I love pairing my media with music, or the film with music. And most recently, the One Wave Challenge put on by in support of Boys to Men San Diego. It's a great organization that helps at-risk youth kids. But they were trying to break the world record for most people on one wave.
Awesome!
Yeah, so that was awesome. We got to
How many did they get?
I think the total was 160 or 172 or something.
How is that possible?
Oh my God, it was radical. And
man. You were filming for them?
Mm-hmm, yeah, so I went out there. It's actually right here at the shores in the morning. It's awesome, just kind of in the lineup right there. Talk about crowded though.
Yeah, of course. How amazing. What an incredible life you live. What other sports have you filmed? Have you ever done any other action sports? Have you filmed anything close to sort of skateboarding or anything like that?
Yeah, actually a lot of my friends skate too. So what I do a lot with my film photography is go downtown with them or wherever might be a skate spot, and shoot them skate and try to capture them on film. So I feel like a lot of people don't really shoot on film anymore, much less skate photography.
Sure. So. The angles have to be totally different, catching somebody getting major air versus trying to fight off waves in your face.
Exactly, yeah. So the nice thing is that you're not freezing cold and you don't have someone shaking you around constantly. But thing with then skating, you know, it's a split second of the shot that you're trying to get.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
Yeah.
Out of the whole series of photos that you capture in one shooting session, how many are viable? Like how many like great shots do you get out of a day of shooting?
So if I go out there for a regular session, maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'd say I'd probably get around, depending on obviously how many surfers and like the swell, average 10 pictures. And
That's
then,
awesome.
Yeah, from those 10, I'll maybe pick like 4 to 5.
Cool. Yeah, we do a lot of shooting, a lot of photo shoots. We've been doing it for a long time, and for us, we'll do hundreds of photos and we'll get 3 that are great or usable. So I totally know that life. You're super lucky to be getting 10. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Who inspires you every morning to get up and do this? Is it yourself? You inspire yourself, or is there somebody you can think of that makes you want to do this?
I'd only say like, growing up, I watched a lot of older surf films. For example, Endless Summer, I'm sure you've heard of, by Bruce Brown. So seeing that sort of photography and his sort of style, and then also other locals out here like Derek Dunphy, Todd Glazer, you know, they have amazing work with natural, beautiful coastline that we have. So I think they really inspire me to keep going out there and keep trying to perfect my work and my artwork, because I see how they're doing it. I aspire to be like them.
That's so amazing. Yeah. I'm so impressed by you. I hope that everybody that saw this is so impressed by you. I'll go ahead and give you guys the link so you can check out more of his work.
Thank you.
If you guys want any work done by him, you can go ahead and commission him to take pictures of you surfing or skateboarding. So exciting to have you with us today. I hope everybody has a great morning.
Bye, guys.